Today we're talking about a feeling, not a thought. It's a feeling. It's a feeling of pressure. And I'm curious if you can feel it before I even describe it. It's like a tightness in your chest. It's like restlessness in your stomach, that urge to hurry or to catch up, to finally get everything organized or answer all the messages, clean your office, finish the course, make the post, finally become the person who has all of it together. That feeling. If you have an undefined root in human design, that pressure, it can feel incredibly familiar. Your root's not always necessarily going to tell us we're not enough. It whispers in one word. It whispers, hurry, catch up, do more. Everyone else is ahead. And this is what I've noticed. The pressure isn't actually the deepest wound. It's what happens next. Because if you also have an undefined ego, there's another voice, and it quietly joins into the conversation and says, see, here's the proof. You're behind. You're not disciplined enough. You'll never figure this out. Who do you think you are? And jumping into all of those loops just as if they were seamless, as if, of course, that's part of the story. So today we're not going to argue against those voices. We're going to slow them down enough to recognize them. And once we recognize the loop, you'll see it starts losing that power. So we're going to begin with karate chop. Even though I've been carrying so much pressure, I deeply and completely honor how hard I've been trying. And even though I've mistaken pressure for proof, I choose to meet myself with compassion in this moment. Even though this pattern has felt so true for so long, there's a chance that I'm ready to see it differently now. And let's move to the eyebrow. I can feel this pressure. It's always asking me to hurry. It's always asking me to do more, to catch up, to finally get on top of everything. It feels heavy. A lot of times it feels relentless. And I can feel that pressure start to build in my body. Let's just notice it. We don't have to change anything. Just ask it, what are you trying to tell me? It feels like you're trying to say, hurry. It feels like you're trying to say, you're behind. It feels like you're trying to say, catch up to everyone else. Everyone else is doing more. You should be further along. You don't have time to rest. You need to work harder. I know this voice. And then something else happens. After that pressure, another voice jumps in. It says, see, there's your proof. You're just not enough. And you never were. You'll never get there. And I've heard this story so many times, it feels like it has to be true and it feels like it has to be real. But let's slow down enough to listen and realize the pressure came first. And then shame came after it. The pressure came first. And then we felt the story about worthiness. I've been treating them like the same thing. But actually they're not. And I can tell I'm beginning to see the difference. It makes sense that I've believed this. I've lived inside this loop for so long, and it comes in so quickly. Pressure, then shame. Pressure, and then a need to prove. Pressure, and then that loop always comes back to exhaustion again. So I'm ready to consider Maybe this pressure isn't telling me the truth. It is creating a sense of urgency. But I need to separate that from my worth. My worth was never on trial. And maybe I let this pressure help me measure myself through it. Maybe I don't need to solve the pressure. Maybe if I can simply recognize it and see it, that awareness will change everything. Knowing this pattern now helps me to recognize it. Deep breath. Pressure. I see you. I know what comes after you. You don't surprise me anymore. And you don't get to introduce me to my worth anymore. I'm not going to let you decide who I am. I'm going to take space and remember that I can breathe, especially before I jump into believing you. I can notice this loop with love and compassion and honor myself throughout the experience. And then I can make space to choose something different. Now take a deep, slow breath in. Notice your body. Notice any pressure. And we want to continue to notice that we're the one observing that. The pressure is happening, but that doesn't mean that it's who I am. It doesn't define me or determine my worth. And then today, instead of trying to outrun it, let's just come back to a simple smile and remind ourselves, I know this pattern now. I know what it's trying to do. It's trying to protect me, but it's not in charge anymore. And then let's take one last breath. Feel your feet beneath you and the space that awareness created.